Rev up your engines!
Well, if you order one of these nice 2023 Ford Bronco two-door Heritage, guess what? You're SOL. You're not going to get one. Because Ford has canceled all the orders for them. As Ford Motor Company says, we are canceling all unbuilt 2023 Ford Bronco two-door Heritage orders. People ordered them. We've been waiting for the Bronco, but guess what? They're not going to get it because they're not going to build them. They blame the strike. They blame shortage of parts. Blame. Blah, blah, blah. The fact is, people paid money. They put money down. They ordered them. They wanted it. And now they're not even going to build it. They got people that want to buy something and they're not building it for them. Ford is one screwed up company. And they're always out to blame it on something else. It's market forces. It's the workers on strike. We can't get parts to build them, blah, blah, blah. And I laugh because Farley, Ford's CEO, the other day says, we need more vertical integration. We're going to get... Come on, Henry Ford was the one who made vertical integration, right? And you clowns over the years have taken it away. And they keep talking about, we're going to talk, blah, blah, blah. It goes on forever. The words come out of their mouths, it means nothing. Follow the money. The money is they can't even build trucks that people have already ordered that they want. To me, that company's so screwed up, they need to fire Farley, get him out. He didn't know what he's doing. Find somebody who actually understands about cars, how to build them, how to run a factory, how to get vertical integration, you know? Not just some talking head who's telling stories about, oh, we're going to make it better. And they keep leading the world in recalls. And now they have a vehicle that people like, but they canceled the orders because they can't build them. You know, Ford is messed up. Run Cheap says, I'm thinking about buying a 2007 RAV4. It's got 180,000 miles. The guy wants $6,500. What do you think? If it's an 07 RAV4 and it has the 4-cylinder engine, don't buy it, because that is the 4-cylinder inline engine that burns oil because Toyota made the piston rings wrong. Now, they made some with V6 engines. The V6 engines had no problems at all. Buy it. But if it's the 4-cylinder, don't buy it. It's an oil burner. They all burn oil. Now, Toyota fixed a very small amount of them. If the seller of that car could give you a thing that said Toyota rebuilt the engine, and it's Toyota, you could call Toyota and say, did you really rebuild the engine? Here's the VIN number. If they said yes, they did, go ahead and buy it. But if it's still the stock engine, don't buy it because it's going to be an oil burner. If it isn't already, they made the pistons wrong. But if it's a V6 engine, go ahead and buy it. Have a mechanic check it out first, of course. You never know. The V6s didn't have oil problems. It was only the 4 cylinders on an 07 RAV4. Manny164 says, I got a 2017's Ford Fusion. It has 2.7 twin turbo. What are your thoughts on the car and reliability? Now, you didn't say how many miles you have. The problem is it's a twin turbo. The turbos generally only last a maximum of a little over 100,000 miles. If you've got over 100,000 miles now, be forewarned, you're going to have to replace the turbos. Cost a lot of money. You own it. You didn't say how many miles you have on it. Let's say you got over 100,000, 120,000. If I were you, I'd get rid of and get a more reliable vehicle. If it has less, I'd drive until it gets 120, 130. Then I definitely would think about getting rid of it before you had to buy turbos. And knowing those things, the transmission will start to wear out at 140, 150. So it all depends on the mileage. How many miles you got. If it's lower mileage, yeah, it could still be pretty reliable, but over 120, I'd definitely get rid of it. Well, Americans do crazy things. Check it out. It's a Ford Maverick, and it's got dual stacks coming out the back. That was done on a hybrid Maverick pickup, which is a 4-cylinder hybrid vehicle with a little bitty 4-cylinder engine. The guy's obviously got a very ironic sense of humor because those stacks are what the big diesel boys do, and then they rev it up and rich in the fuel injection so black smoke comes out because they want to be bad boys, right? Well, in this case, it's an economically reliable Ford Maverick with a hybrid system, but he's still got 2 stacks coming out the back. It just looks cool, I gotta say. Only in America, people will do anything. It looks cool. I'm sure it isn't gonna make the performance any difference. It's a little bitty engine, putting a couple stacks on it. It just makes it look cool, yeah? Well, here we go with old technology. The Biden administration is now blowing $4 million to study the feasibility of more rail between Rhode Island and Connecticut. Now, I hate to tell Sleepy Joe, but The states are connected, you know, they're right next to each other. It's not that far, right? Now, they don't have any plan for improving the interstate rail traffic between Connecticut and Rhode Island, but they're going to blow $4 million studying it. I realized last week the Biden administration put out $16.4 billion in supposedly building up the rail infrastructure on the East Coast. Here we go again. Old technology. They're trying to sell us windmills. Now they're trying to tell us trains. The train tracks that are already there are in such crappy shape, they can't put the fast trains. They got some train they bought that goes 100-something miles an hour, but it can't go even near that speed because the tracks are so crappy it'll fly off. It costs a lot of money to make trains. And if they think they're going to make trains and infrastructure in this country we never had since after the Civil War when the trains went all big, and then they started to fall apart after World War I from lack of rebuilding it, from people using trucks instead and cars. If you compared the trucks on the road, people in their cars traveling all over the country, to trains, they would need to build so many trains. There would probably be trillions of dollars of trains. There's better ways of doing it than trains, but they think, oh, trains. I remember when I was a kid, I rode on that train on the East Coast. Let's fix it up. Hey, come on now, people. That's old technology. It's not going to fix any of our problems. Oh, the people in Connecticut like it. They can get a ride to New York City. The train will be better, you know, and blah, blah, blah. They're slow. There's hardly anybody in them. They don't go to too many destinations, and they stop everywhere, so that makes them even slower than their slow speed. It's old technology, people. Think of something new. Don't go back to old technology and think it's going to fix anything. Check it out. Domino's going to use this flashy electric bike to deliver pizza to you. You don't want cold pizza? Guess what? It's got a built-in oven to keep it warm. And they claim the bike has great suspension, so your cheese and pepperoni won't slide all over the place. Well, it's an electric bicycle. One, they don't go all that fast. And I'm looking at this thing. I know a lot about electric bicycles. I've tried out dozens and dozens of them. Battery pack isn't all that big. And it's got weird rim brakes. Instead of having a nice little disc like all the ones I have, hydraulic disc brakes on the bicycles, and they got a nice stainless steel rotor they squeeze. Now, this thing's using rim brakes. Come on, those things are inefficient. When it's raining out, they slip and don't work. I mean, that's why they've gone to disc brakes on a lot of these things, right? They should have asked me when they were designing this electric bicycle for delivering pizza what mistakes not to make, because they've obviously made some. It rains a lot, right? They got these rim brakes. They're not going to stop all that well in the rain. Your pizza's going to slide all over the place when they wreck the bike. Now, it does have a wide wheel stand on the back. Flip it up like old style motorcycle to get the tire off in the back. So it doesn't have a kickstand where it would fall over because it's got the heavy pizza oven on the back. I'll give them that, you know. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to see any of these in the United States anytime soon. They're doing it in the Australian-based pizza place now. That includes Australia, New Zealand, Belgium, and the Netherlands, Japan, Germany, Luxembourg, Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore, and Cambodia. These countries do have a lot of bike paths. They're set up for bicycles, right? In the United States, they aren't. They would be forced off the road. You can't ride bicycles very far distance in the United States. I laughed. My wife and I were driving the other day, and we like riding our electric bicycles around. But here in Rhode Island, they'll have a bicycle path. Now all of a sudden, half a mile later, there's no path. What do, right? The people kill you when you're riding the road. They drive like maniacs around here, right? So what we do is we have folding bikes. We fold them up, put the seat back in the matrix, and then put the two folding bikes in, drive to where we want to ride, like the Riverside, where they have Riverside and Oceanside trails and mountain trails, right? Then we take them out, unfold them, ride them, bring them back, and then drive home, because there's nowhere we're riding to those places on the roads. We would be killed. Yeah, they probably won't do this in the United States for a long time, if ever, because there is no real infrastructure. You look at the Europeans like the Netherlands, thousands and thousands of people are riding bikes. They got little bridges over the canals for bicycles and stuff. It's set up. Here in the United States, no. It's not set up for bicycles, you know, other than the entertainment part. Once you get to the parks and stuff, it's fine. So do like I do. Get a folding bike, put it in your car, and then when you get there, unfold it, ride around, and come back and drive home safely on a regular road on a car so you don't get killed by the lunatics out there that don't like bicycles, and the bicycle paths that on the road might last for a mile here and then they're gone for a couple of miles. You don't have to deal with that. You only ride in the parks like I do. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.